Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Fine. How are you? What time? What
Good.
time is it over there?
So it's 6 p.m. UK time.
Okay, and it's 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Lisa Raynes is over in England, right? What
Yeah.
what city do you live in?
Well, just outside Manchester.
Yes.
That always reminds me of a song from Hair. I'm not going to sing it. I can't sing, but
You're
it
not
was
going
like
to sing it for
dancing
me.
with, yeah, across
My
the Atlantic
stepdad,
Sea.
my stepdad designed the printing press for the Manchester paper.
Really?
Yeah, so he was over there. He was over there several times.
Oh, wow. That was
Yeah.
quite impressive.
Yeah, he's a design engineer, so it's like, it's kind of an odd. I mean, he also did the USA Today, years ago when it was first like the first color press. So,
Mhm.
and he has a patent and things like that. But, it's kind of like people are like, "Oh, is he an engineer? Like what type of engineer?" And I'm like, "Probably none that you would ever that you're not one that you're not really familiar with." But yeah. Okay, so I'm here with Lisa Raynes. Lisa is an architect that specializes in the domestic sector, which she discovered is perfect for getting her work-life balance just right. After being made redundant twice due to maternity leave, she decided in 2010 to set up Raynes Architecture out of necessity, as there were no architecture employment opportunities at the time. However, the inequality within architecture continued to frustrate her. So recently, she created the franchise Pride Road in June 2016. Um, it is a game changer. It's a game changer for women in architecture, as it allows her to give her flexible business model to other architects so they too can enjoy their families as well as their work. Raynes argues that on entering the architecture school, there is a 50-50 split across genders, but once you get into practice, the numbers fall to 20 to 30% of all architects being women. So despite women being equally interested in architecture, they fall prey to economic cycles far more than men, and once and, far more than men, and once they decide to have a family. And I am totally 100% with you on that in every having,
Absolutely.
yes, having
So it's a common
started.
theme globally, isn't it? It's not just the UK, is it?
Yes, I mean, I don't know whether it's any better in Denmark. I mean, I went to school in Denmark for a year, and supposedly that
Mm,
was supposed to, but at that point I was still in school, right? So it's like
yeah,
I don't know the way it is there as far as people in the practice.
yeah. And we were part of Sheroes in Architecture last year, the online
Yes,
conference. That was an international women in architecture conference that I hosted with Sarah Calotta.
yes, yes,
Yeah, and
yes,
a lot of this was discussed there.
yes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I'll put a link to that in the show notes for this, so that people can watch that also. Um, so Lisa, what are your first recollections of experiencing architecture?
So my grandfather was a builder, and when I was about 5, he built his own house on the edge of a cliff in the Isle of Man. It's a little island between England and Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was like a split level property. It looked like a 50s bungalow from the front, and then it dropped down to the back. Do you remember Dusk Till Dawn? The end scene in Dusk Till Dawn, Tarantino's Dusk Till Dawn.
God, I'm scared to watch his movies, but
Yeah.
I can't
Anyway,
watch
there's a
scary
clip
movies,
because
but it was in there. Was it in there?
no, it wasn't in there, but it's the idea of it kind of like falls away, kind of you go in a kind of single story building and then it falls away completely, and behind is like Machu Picchu or something.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, anyway, so I was 5, and I think the architect built a little paper or cardboard model, or he did, and I remember him showing it to me, and I was, that was it. I was intrigued and
Uh-huh.
really involved in the build, and sort of helped lay some foundations.
Oh, wow, at 5?
At 5, yeah. No health and safety back there, but then it was, 1977 it was completed. So
Great.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said the architect has done other projects that do you remember who the architect was or not?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't know whether there was an architect
Yeah,
involved.
okay. Yeah, so he might have just built it himself
Yeah,
as
I
far or
think so.
designed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what are 3 classic buildings that you like and why? And it's
Oh,
not classical, just like classic as far as like what
yeah.
you might um
I have been thinking about this,
uh-huh.
and I wrote a series of buildings down. Um, so one once when I was younger, one space that really intrigued me. So not necessarily a classic building, but a classic infrastructure
Uh-huh.
project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Um, so it's Spaghetti Junction in Birmingham.
fine.
So it's a series of motorways linking together.
Okay. Yeah.
Freeways.
Yeah.
And then you have all the slip roads and the access roads going onto it. So
Mhm.
I think there's a couple that cross over, and then you've got the access roads linking from one to another. And I think there's a train line that goes through it as
Uh-huh.
well. So, as a child, when you're kind of driving along and you're just watching these kind of like multi-level, it's so futuristic.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's breathtaking. But to take it one step further, we've got a canal boat,
Uh-huh.
narrowboat, and last year my husband and I um, travelled the canals around Birmingham.
Mhm.
And so underneath the Spaghetti Junction,
Uh-huh.
where you've got the railways, there's another level of canals that go right at the bottom. And so we took the canal underneath Spaghetti Junction, and it was so awe-inspiring. It was like being in a set of like Blade Runner or something like that. It was just phenomenal.
Make sure that you send me the photos of it so that I can
I
put
can
it,
probably
yeah.
send you some YouTube clips or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I mean, for the blog. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
you
mean, you
can
don't have to do it
kind of
now.
see.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that, and then another building that was pretty awe-inspiring is, and I can never remember whether it's the Parthenon or the Pantheon.
What does it look like?
The Roman one with the
That's the
concrete
Pantheon.
Pantheon.
It's so funny, Lisa, because I've had this conversation with like other people that say, is it the Parthenon or the Pantheon? I'm like, no, it's the Pantheon. It's like, or
Yeah,
it's the Parthenon, right? But yeah, yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
both of them, so that's the only reason why I can tell people like,
Ah,
oh, which one is
I
which?
know. Well, I think we went to Rome 4 years ago, and we went to see it, and it's just staggering. This incredibly beautiful 2,000-year-old structure
Yeah,
is just feels so contemporary.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I asked somebody, because when I saw it in 1986. And so
Mm,
they had not like they had not done the restoration on it before, because they started to do a lot of restoration. In fact, when we were there, they were doing a lot of restoration on stuff. So it's like a lot of the photographs that we took during that year had scaffolding up all over them. But so it was super dark and dirty and just looked like everything else, as far as from the
yeah,
outside, right? So it's like we're
yeah.
like walking around and around, and there might not have been any type of wayfinding to find it. So it's like really
Mm,
we were kind of like looking around, and then we're like, oh, okay, it's this one here. And we didn't have, right, we didn't have our phone to help us find it or anything. We just had the Let's Go Europe, right? Let's go
yeah.
Europe.
A book.
The book, which, right, we would tear out. We didn't want to take the whole book with us. We would just tear out the sections that we needed
Yeah.
for that thing, and then just throw them in our backpack, and like go, off we would go, right? So somebody was saying the other day, like, oh, but you were in Denmark, and I'm like, that would be like staying in Southern California all your life. It's like we wouldn't just stay. We would go everywhere in Europe. Well, if you're there for a year, we'd go everywhere. To try to get our time in, because we never knew when we would be back there again. The people from Australia, they typically stay like a year and a half in Europe, year and a half or 2 years, because it takes them so long
Hmm.
to get there. Okay, so and the Pantheon. All right, so those are the three.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's two.
okay.
And then what else did I have on my I think Taj Mahal was on here.
Okay. Yeah.
Taj Mahal's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Um yeah, so we went to India. Oh gosh. So it must be about 13 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Um and it's just so iconic.
I haven't seen it, Lisa, but I
Yeah.
mean, I've learned about it, and I've said this in other podcasts. I learned about it when I was younger, and I just thought that I thought it was fascinating. I mean, when I
Yeah.
was like in elementary school or maybe middle school or high school or whatever, and I used to laugh, and I said some of my grades and tests weren't very well, so then they would say, "Oh, for extra credit." Like it was always like a drawing project. And so
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, I'll draw the Taj Mahal. So I drew a picture of the Taj Mahal. And I mean, it was good, because I can draw pretty well. But and this was like it had to be in high school or something. But I just thought that it was like so kind of um just such a beautiful story, that like he would actually design like and build like this beautiful structure for her. And then of course, right, one of his kids imprisoned him like before they were able to do the black one, right? Because they were gonna, right, hers was white and then his is gonna be black. And then I have this project now where the bathrooms are marble, and the
Yeah.
client, like, she's like, oh yeah, I want mine to be white marble and his to be black
Ooh.
marble. Yes, yes. So that's the one that I
Wow.
was like, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Those are the
I mean,
sort
it
of
is
plans
like
you have.
that. And I said to her, I'm like, oh, like the Taj Mahal. And I don't know what, I mean, she was an art history major, so I'm sure that that's the reason why she did it, or that's the reason why she wanted that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what was
I
it
mean,
like?
for me, it was about the materiality of it. So
Mm-hmm.
we went like first thing in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and and we saw a different view. We kind of saw it from across the river at the back, and it was very, and um the area is incredibly poor, and it's incredibly run down, and you've
Mm-hmm.
got cows going along the river at the back, and it was very hazy. And it was kind of like bathed in blue light and kind of a bit misty.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the day we went into the front entrance, and then you kind of like you're guided through these kind of like all the tourist queues, and you have to go through metal detectors and bomb detectors. And we were with our two children.
Mm-hmm.
We had two at the time, not three. And their toys got confiscated because they thought they had bombs. cuddly toys because they thought they had, you know, bombs in it. So the kids were like, and then we walk down, and then, you know, the landscaping is iconic. You know, you've got the kind of the picture there. There's the picture at the end of the vista where, you know, Princess Di, you know, Lady Di had a photo taken, and everyone has the photo taken there.
Mhm.
And then you kind of walk up and through, and I think we had to put on like cover shoes, like, or take your shoes off or
Mhm.
something.
Uh-huh.
Once inside, it was pink. It was glowing pink. You know, the marble was so translucent. It was just stunning. And that's like my biggest takeaway. It's just that, you know, kind of like light and yeah, kind of like pinkness.
Uh-huh.
Oh dear. Yeah.
And so is she entombed there? Actually entombed there?
I don't remember.
Is there an area in there for her,
Yeah, I don't
or is that
remember.
not?
I mean, it's incredibly decadent, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, I mean, for the time, right? I mean, any of
I
right.
mean, for
Oh,
the
you
you
know how
know,
it is,
it's
Lisa.
kind of like,
Royalty
yeah,
is decadent.
yeah, it all is. It all is. You know, it's like you've got such extremes out there, just such huge, you know, sort of like these ostentatious, um, you know, edifices. So, you know, I think what I like about it is, you know, like the materiality and kind
Yeah.
of the like that is iconic, not
Mhm.
necessarily what it represents
Oh
or
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, what I was saying to people the other day about right, and I mean, I think it was in a podcast, but about like the single family home, right? The single family
Mm,
home in America, you know,
mm,
it's like one of these one of the architects who has a you know, he has a successful firm, you know, with a multifamily affordable housing, you know, and you know, they've got two different offices, but you know, so he was laughing. He's like, yeah, he goes, you know, like he said, I'm on this jury, and we kind of said, like, okay, we're not going to, you know, give, you know, it was the housing awards, you know, one of the different housing awards, but he's like, okay, we're not going to give any of these like huge, big, you know, single family homes an award. And then this project came through, and they were like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And they gave it one
yeah,
anyway, right? So
yeah. It's I know it's crazy because architecture costs so much money.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose it takes me on to your next question then. What
Yes,
is your next question?
yeah. What do you like about being an architect?
Well, so I love just helping people. You know, I help improving people's lives and creating kind of amazing spaces for them.
Hmm.
Um, but my offer's kind of, I'd say, low end domestic.
Hmm.
So it's usually, you know, people who couldn't afford to use an architect.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's about making, you know, small interventions that make enormous differences to people's lives.
yeah.
You know, it's those little things that can, you know, improve quality of life,
Hmm.
space, you
Yeah,
know, and then
yeah,
that's a gift, a gift, a skill, a training, an education that we've had that we can impart. And, you know, I love it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
for me also, I think for me, you know, architecture is an embodiment of financial circumstance
Mhm.
as well. So for me, I think one of the most important things that I do is help inform clients whether something's viable or not.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't believe in putting clients in negative equity. I don't know if that's something, yeah, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
that's
I mean, yeah.
absolute
Yeah.
fundamental, if you cannot afford to do it and it's not going to give you, bring value back,
Hmm.
spend that money on that property.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just did it recently with the project because I always, after schematic design, I always get preliminary estimates from contractors to see if it's actually what they want is actually viable. And most of the time, it is. They've got enough, kind of built in. And then plus, we're in an area where, there's people have a lot of equity. I mean, we've really climbed fast in the last few years as far as the San
Yeah.
Diego area as well as the California area and actually all parts of the United States. I mean, we don't know how long that's going to be now. I mean, we might be headed for a crash, but still there's equity in people's homes, but you're like, okay, how much do you really want? Because you're still going to have to pay. You're still going to have to pay even if you get that equity line of credit. You're still going to have to pay off that line of credit. And so people recently that are in like kind of the same area as me. I mean, they have a family glazing business, and he works for he works for a defense contractor. And they were like, okay, do we do a second story or do we just add on to the first story? And they kind of went back and forth and back and forth. But the bids, there was like a difference between of about 400,000 between what one person's bid was for doing the second story and another person's bid for doing the second story. And then those bids were almost twice. And so they were really close. They were really on the line. And I was like, you know what? I would rather have you not do the second story, but maybe we do a roof deck up there because that's really kind of what you wanted from the second story, right? So it's kind of finding like what exactly did you want from the second story? Because you don't it's like you really don't need any more bedrooms than what you have and adding it. So, so let's just do a roof deck up there. We'll add on, we'll make that bedroom, we'll add that office on the first floor, that separate office on the first floor. And then we'll just do a roof deck on top of that extended area. And that will be less than us adding a whole second story on there. And so, it's like, because I said, I don't want you to be that close. Like, I don't want my clients to not be able to afford to build something.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I really quiz my clients. You've got to try and get under their skin and what's it all about and where,
Mhm.
how long are you going to be here for? And,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you think it's a quick fix and a short-term thing, it's not a short-term thing. I don't know about you guys, but over here, we have TV programs that show, start to completion within of a
Yes.
project within an hour. Every night there's a different TV program. So people think that they can build a house in an hour.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And it's
well,
not going to
actually,
cost any money at all. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not
did
gonna
you
cost.
notice that she had another child by the time they came back to, or they've been divorced, or someone passed away? It's like, no, life happens during the build. You need to make sure that you're in it for duration.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. We have a HGTV over here. Do you guys have HGTV over there, or it's something
No.
similar? If they probably call it a different name, it's probably owned by the same people. But yeah, we all say it's like, okay, this is not HGTV. They'll be like, oh, but I can remember one person was like, but I saw it on the Property Brothers, and I'm like, okay, I can tell you that the Property Brothers, their job sites get shut down all the time because they don't have a building permit. And I said,
Yeah.
so for you to say that you think that you can put like this, they want to do this speakeasy like in the crawl space of their house with like no doors and windows, and then just like a ladder going down to it, and they're like,
Yes.
but we saw it on the, we saw it on the, I'm like, well, you're not gonna be able to do it with the building
Yeah.
permit because they're not gonna let you do that. Yeah.
I get that all the time. I'm like, kind of in a loft space, a lot of times, people want to convert the loft space, and they're like, well, and if you haven't got the height, there's a lot of our properties are semi-detached, so you've got two pair of houses next to each other.
Yeah.
So there's no, hold on, I'll show you my Lego.
Okay.
Does this go out on, hold on, is this audio only or visual?
No, it's just audio.
Oh, it's just audio.
It's just audio. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, fine. So if I show you the Lego,
those are cute.
So you can describe them in detail.
So just take a photo and I'll put it in the blog.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and then I link the podcast to the blog. Oh, that's
fun.
Oh,
so I made these in lockdown, so it was just a really easy way of explaining kind of like projects to clients.
Yeah.
Where you're just talking about, why is that not working? Anyway, so it's a pair of Lego
in between them or something.
Yeah, it's a pair of Lego 1930s semi-detached houses.
Now it's together. Yeah. Now it's together.
So the kind of like typically you get a pair of houses, and then each house kind of like gets different types of adaptations, and the certain things you can't do. You have planning restrictions and building regulation descriptions. So you've got different types of roofs, you've got loft conversions at the back.
Yes, yeah.
One's got
it's basically like a town, like it's a townhouse kind of configuration, but you're allowed to do what you want in between them. It's not like you have an HOA that's going to say, oh, you're not allowed to do this. Right.
There's a lot of restrictions about what you can and can't do, and they vary between councils.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So there's some national policies, and then there's like regional policies.
Yeah.
But
and then your councils are like cities or jurisdictions, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's right. So oftentimes, if you've got a pair of houses, you can't raise the roof on one side. And you've got clients going, but I want to go into the loft, and like, well, you can't do it. And they're like, well, we'll live. We're small. We can live with the small, the small height. I'm like, you can't sell it as a room afterwards. There is no point in doing it. Do not pour all your money into a space that you cannot then sell on. I'm quite tough.
Well, you have to be like this person. They were like, oh, well, we want to put the stair in the closet, right? And I had designed the spec house that they were living in, and I said, there's not enough room, and and he's like, well, are you sure? But when I said, yeah, I know, because it's only 7 feet wide. I said, you cannot put a stair going one floor down in 7 feet. You need 14 feet in order to put a stair down to the next level down, and he was like, well, the property brothers. I'm like, no, you can't. It's like, I don't understand. The property brothers. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to say about the future of architecture?
So this isn't a question I've really thought about.
Whatever everybody says to me, I mean, even if they do, because Lisa didn't get did you get the questions before, or you didn't get the questions before?
I don't think I got the questions before, but I listened to some previous podcasts.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so that was like, I was jotting down some of the classic buildings.
Yes, which is good, Lisa, because a lot of people, I'll ask them to be on the podcast, and then I'll say, and they're like, well, what's the name of it? And I'll say, oh, I've never met a woman architect before. And they're like, oh, well, I'm a man. I'm like, yeah, I know that. I interview more than just men. And I said, which now shows me that you've never listened to it before. So don't try to, so it's great that you actually have listened to it before. Yay! But it is a tough question, right?
And you've been on my podcast as well,
Yes,
Architect.
yes,
The Pride Road Architects podcast, Architecture in the Den. So
yes, which we didn't say in the bio, but yes, Lisa has a podcast. And we'll also put the link to that in there. Was mine posted yet or not?
I think I've scheduled it to go out.
Okay.
13th of September.
Oh, okay. That's my son's birthday.
Oh,
my youngest birthday. Yes.
Happy birthday. I've just
22.
invested in. Oh my goodness.
And the youngest is 22. Yeah, that's craziness, huh?
Yeah, I've just invested in an intro and an outro for my podcast.
Oh, you did? Is it
music? So I've actually
music? Is it music?
Yeah, I've got music. I've got an intro. It's got a funky beat.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. So I mean, that's part of the future, right? Technology,
yes. So future of architecture, I would like to see, well, I'd like my franchise. We're at 5 in the UK. I could see master franchisors over in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, so Pride Road, it is an architectural practice franchise. Over here, the business model is based around kind of like domestic extensions. And it's a franchise model, so very similar to McDonald's. Except we don't produce hamburgers, we produce an architectural service. So that's not to say what we do is exactly the same. It's just that we pool our shared experience and we work in the same way.
Okay, and so that's kind of how you do it, right? So it's a business model, and then I know that you've showed me before, like the sheets, kind of that you'll work with people on, or kind of thing.
Yeah, it's because we work with lay clients, so clients that haven't built before, their experience with us is the first time they've met an architect. So we've really honed down, kind of simplified the offer and kind of the service, make it really clear. So I think what you call schematic design, we kind of concept design, we do that by hand. I know we were talking about kind of doing hand drawings. So we do our early stage by hand, and we charge for it as well. We do our hand drawings in front of the clients, scale 1 to 50. I don't know what that is in Imperial, but it's like 1 in 48 or 1 inch to 1 foot or something.
Yeah, see, we have an engineer scale, but the engineers will use that, and then architect scale is there. So like engineer scale, it is like 1 inch equals 10 feet, or 1 inch equals 20 feet, and so it goes more like that. But yeah, and then I mean, and I did it in Denmark, but I totally forget about the meters versus
So what
as far as
what scale would you do a schematic layout?
We'd probably do it at 1/8.
1/8.
Yeah, 1/8 inch equals 1 foot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be 8 feet per inch. Yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense as far as being able to be.
I do not understand how you work in Imperial. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy. I mean, over here, mind you, we still have Imperial sizes and metric alongside. It kind of drives my husband.
Oh, you do? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A drill bit, is it a 16th or is it 5 mil,
Oh, okay. So you do have it, probably because
so we do.
the different companies. Yeah, which we do have it next. But you know, Lisa, we learned metric when we were in elementary school, and they were like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, in 2 years, we're gonna be in metric, but yeah, oh yeah, like in the 60s and 70s, they said, oh, we're gonna be moving to metric.
So the
And
future is going to be metric.
oh yeah, when we were in elementary school, it just never happened, right? It just never
Why didn't
happened.
it happen? Why
Oh,
didn't it happen?
well, I'm sure it had something. I mean, right? It's the United States. I mean, right? We're
We
like,
decimalized in
right?
1971, 72. So like 50 years ago when I
Oh
was
yeah,
born.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. They were like, oh no, metric, and we still, and I mean, we still. You know what? I don't even think my kids really learned that much metric either. Right? Food is like always, right? Like we'll do a liter, right? Soda comes in 2-liter bottles.
Okay. Yeah. And weight, when you weigh yourself on the scales,
In
that's
the
in
hospital,
imperial.
and the doctor's office, typically they do it in, which is probably more of a problem, right? Because people don't actually know how much. They're like, oh, it's this many, you're this many kilograms, but actually they should be saying, okay. And then I have to say, like, okay, well, what is that? And because I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, how many is that in? Because I'm 140 pounds, so whatever that is in
Yeah,
metric.
so and,
Yeah.
and we weigh in stones and pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean I have as part of my toolkit, I've got a metric imperial conversion chart, because typically clients and estate agents write in feet and inches. So I'm a kind
They
of
do.
so yeah, the
Huh.
estate agents, so the real estate agents,
Huh.
they measure in feet and inches, but we talk in meters and centimeters and millimeters. It's crazy. There's no consistency. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have, cars, we talk about mileage and
Oh
miles,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
confused. Maybe the world will be simpler at some point.
Well,
I
how tall is a door then for you?
About 2 meters,
Okay.
19 something, 1984, I think.
Yeah. See, so that's
Um,
closer. Where with us, a door is 6 feet 8 inches, which no, right? It's like if you could just say 2 meters, that'd be fine. So you can tell. So people are always like, oh, why is it 6 feet 8 inches? And I'm like, well, it's like probably right, because it's more really about what it was, years ago, and kind of has, it's just become this 6 foot 8 inch thing, which, really
uh,
doesn't relate to anything. Right, 2 meters. You can see 2 meters might relate to 6 feet 8 inches.
yeah,
It doesn't really.
yeah, I suppose it
Yeah.
does. I'm looking at my door in my office, and there's a straight line that kind of gives the picture rail, and then and you can gauge the height of the room from it as well.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's still. I mean, it's like 8 feet tall, right? How tall is your
is the room?
ceiling?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, could measure. I could measure, and it'll tell you in hold on,
In
let me get
meters.
out my laser measure. Yeah,
In
it will be in
meters.
meters. Hold on. My floor to ceiling is
Yeah.
2.488. And if I get out my metric, how crazy is this? Yeah, 8'2". Yeah, about 8'2".
Yeah. 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 So it's about the same.
Yeah, so I would say it's all a bit confused.
Yeah.
I have to, but when I do drawings, I think the easiest thing is to work out a client's height. Oh, actually, you know what I've got in my bag? This is the kind of joy of working with
Uh-huh.
lay clients.
Yeah.
I have little
Oh, little
scale
scale.
people. little scale people. So so these are 1 to 50. So when I draw at 1 to 50,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I just put them on. They're kind of like from railway models and what have you. And you know, I've got a sofa, settee, couch, whatever you call it there. Yeah, it's all really good fun.
Lisa, these are great. These are great. You've got these little manipulatives.
Yeah, well, it's all about communication with clients and making sure that they understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need, because you know, when you do show plans and schematics, it's a different language to clients.
Yeah,
You need to,
yeah. And
you
definitely what I do a lot of times is I'll just measure out the things and show them in real life, right? Because a lot of it's addition remodels and I'm meeting with them and they're here and I'm just like, okay, you know, here, this is what it would be like, right? Like this is here and I'll do, you know, I'll tape it off or something and I'll just say, hey, you know, it's like just tape it off in your house and kind of see what,
yes,
you know, what is comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
I know, never mind doing the 3D, you know, the 3D visualizations, you know, do you produce like a VR?
No, I don't. And I mean, there are people that do, and I might be working with somebody that does do VR, but yeah, it's for me what I don't know. I mean, I still think that people until they're actually in the space, I think that they do not typically know. And I know that people will go around and around with me. Oh no, if they're doing a fly through, they can do it. I'm like, I still don't think that they understand the space, you know, even from doing a fly. Maybe more with VR, it becomes more apparent, but it's still, you know, it's still a little bit different, right? VR, I mean, anytime that you put the thing, I mean, right, I'm an architect and I'll like go through and I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, there's definitely been from that Wonder Spaces. Did you ever go into Wonder Spaces? Do they have Wonder Space over there?
No, what's that? Wonder.
It's this it's kind of this traveling exhibit and it is very artistic and creative, but it actually, you know, and it is very spatial. I mean, you're actually walking through these spaces. They set up these spaces in order to you know, like there's some spaces where you walk through and there's just like a, you know, right, there's mirrors and lights, but it's dark. So it's like sometimes you don't even know where, you know, what's real and what's a mirror image. But they have a couple things in there that are virtual reality and it's just, I mean, it really will trip you out, you know, because they even have rooms where you're sitting at a table with other people and then it becomes it's a whole movie about you being sitting there at that table and then you're watching all of this other stuff go on around you, right? So I mean that part's pretty interesting, but yeah, there are some things, but
That sounds really cool. I think there's definitely post-COVID, I must say, just kind of there's been so little stuff to go and see and experience.
yeah, and they just opened it up again. I just got an email for it, so they're gonna have it again. I think they might have had it for a little bit, but yeah, no, it's definitely not. I mean, I I like going out in public.
Like going out to public.
Like going out in public, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking Philadelphia, Austin, Scottsdale. Yeah, so it looks like it's San Diego.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be coming over.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, check it out, and I'll put a link in the blog for it also if it's ever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, so you must be getting excited about going to Chicago.
Because I've never been.
I've never been.
I've never been.
I've never been to Chicago before.
I know. It's funny because I mean, right, I've never been to Chicago, but I've been to London and and Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Oh, I feel like I've been there, but that's because I'm listening to Michelle Obama becoming at the moment. So I'm kind of like I kind of living Chicago through her, how she's pictured it,
I
which is kind of
know. I know. And they're doing
and
their
and then I
big,
was listening to you and Kevin. Sorry.
yes, yes,
Yes, and you were
yeah.
talking about going to Chicago, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and he's been multiple times, but I've never been there. This is the first time, so I'm looking forward to it. And then and we're gonna be staying downtown, and then there's a house tour, so we're gonna see a couple other things. And then I'm a member of the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, so
yeah.
I'm
Woohoo!
what else I can kind of get in. There's already two houses on the tour, and so I'm gonna see what else I can get in. But I don't know whether I'll be able to get anything in.
I'm fascinated by the idea of Lake Michigan. I just can't get my head around such a big inland tidal
I know. And it's only one of them,
water.
right?
Huh?
There's five. There's five lakes.
I just can't
Yeah.
get it.
Lake
And
Lake Michigan is only one of them.
I know we've been watching Ozark as well. Do you get?
I don't watch that. I
You
do
don't
like
watch
Jason
Ozark?
Bateman, but I don't watch.
I know we've watched the Ozark, and oh, we're kind of I kind of know I'm building up a geography of America
Oh
through
my God.
America.
My parents live outside of Joplin, Missouri. And Lisa, when
Mm,
I mean, it's just a total, the United States is just, there's just this vastness, and it's like you literally could be in another country sometimes.
mm,
It can be so different, right? It's like, it's just so even though we're all, the United States, we're supposed to be united.
mm,
There's like so much, there's so much dis,
mm,
disunification
mm.
as far as a lot of things, and a lot of times that, so I can easily see. I mean, I haven't even seen Ozark, but my parents moved there like 30 years ago, and every time we go there, it's I mean, it's hard to find things to do that we haven't done before there, because it's like every thing. So I'll go up to Kansas City. We'll go up to Iowa, which is where my ex's family was from. Iowa. They had a Walter Burley Griffin home there in Mason City, and so his grandparents owned the Schneider house that's there, and then they have a Frank Lloyd Wright house that's across the street from that. So they're kind of, yeah. So I'm gonna see what I can pick up, because I haven't seen any of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses. Um, so that should be interesting. But yeah,
That
it's
should
my
be
it's my
amazing. And how long will it take you to get from? Because you're in San Diego.
It
I mean,
takes all day. It takes all day pretty much. So it's like, yeah, it's like I have to travel all day really to get to Chicago from San Diego, because there's only like one direct flight a day typically with the
yeah.
airlines that I travel with. So there's only one, so if you're going to the Midwest from the West Coast, the Midwest really isn't in the middle, right? It's further east. So you're traveling for a long time. I mean, like if you were going to drive, it would take you 20 hours or something.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. So you're about, I don't know, 3,000 miles away, 3,000 miles away,
mm,
I think. San Diego to Chicago, 3,000.
right.
Yeah. So it's all day that you're traveling pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. With the wind.
I can't, yeah, it's just those distances, it's so hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
Very different scale, America.
Yes.
So,
You've been here, right? Have you been here?
yeah,
Yeah.
I came, I did summer Camp America, that was it.
Oh,
Upstate New York. I was around Surprise Lake Camp. around Poughkeepsie.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I travelled around a bit. So when I was 18,
Mm-hmm.
and when I qualified, I moved to New York for 6 months.
Uh-huh.
So I briefly lived in the States. Um, did I yeah, no, I didn't travel too much there. I just kind of stayed locally and went to Boston.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a pretty interesting time. Have you lived in New York?
No, but I've always wanted to, Lisa. I mean, seriously, I always have. And, it's like, how I mean, life gets in the way, right? I mean, if you
Yeah,
haven't done it when you're
it's
younger, and then, like when
so
I lived in Denmark for a
expensive.
year, I
Yeah,
thought that I'd be back to Europe. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
of course I'm not. And then meanwhile, it was like, I think it was almost 30 years before I went back. So it was, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just crazy. Yeah.
I lived in Soho, junction of Prince and Spring on West Broadway, and I had the iconic view of the Twin Towers,
Uh-huh.
like at the
Yeah.
bottom of my 5-story walk up, and
Uh-huh.
I'd sublet it from an academic. So the room, so I had a series of 3 rooms which were kind of like shelved in bookcases, and she lived in the flat above, and she'd just come and wander in any time of the day or night. And it had a bath in the middle of the first space, so you'd open the front door and there was a bath in there, and then it had a fridge unit that had a fridge and a hob, and there was like a broiler as well. The toilets was actually the only space that had been kind of like closed off a little bit. And then there was a second space that had a desk in and lots of bookshelves, and then the third space that had like a single bed in it. Um, it was
So was that your space, or she was using that space also?
she used to use it as she lived in the flat above.
Okay, okay, so that was all yours.
Yeah, it was all mine, but she had books in it, so occasionally she'd come down and gave
Okay.
books, and I'd be working there a little bit. It's just, I'm coming in. You're like, okay. She was really sweet, really, really sweet.
That sounds like a
And her
great
daughter,
place. Oh my
and her
gosh.
daughter was 5 at the time. I swear she was the devil. This 5-year-old, oh yes, oh she's lovely. Oh no, she's not. She's just kind of like a lone child, but extremely precocious at the age of 5. You're
Of
like,
course they are.
okay,
They are at 5. I mean, I know
yeah.
my Danish sister when I lived with them. I mean, she was totally different from
Mhm.
so from like kind of what she became. I mean, it's
Mm,
like when she was 5, and then when I went back there, and then she had a 5-year-old, and I'm like, okay, this 5-year-old is exactly the way that she was, but
yeah,
she's not like that 5-year-old at all that I can see, you know, as how, and it's funny because she'll always say, she would say like, oh, he's just like his dad, and I'm like, oh, he's just like you, like looks like you, talks like
yeah.
you.
But
But
so
yeah,
I lived,
yeah.
yeah, so I lived there, I think it was like 1998, 99.
Hmm.
And like Sex in the City was being filmed, so I could see the set, like, oh. So the city was potentially open to me.
Yeah.
But I was I just got engaged before I went out. So I was
Hmm.
like a single female. I didn't really want to go too far. So I was just really restricted to like daytime activities and going to museums and galleries and things during the day. I didn't really want to go to bars and, put myself out there at night or anything. So, and then what I found was the girlfriends that I made
Hmm.
whilst I was out there, because it was so expensive to live,
Hmm.
working like 3 jobs or 2 jobs and studying.
Yeah.
So there was no spare time. So no leisure time whatsoever. So you'd meet someone, you'd have a really good connection and be like, oh, let's go and do coffee. And they're like, nope, there is no time in my diary to go and do coffee. And you're like, right, okay. So you're there, you made some nice friends, but you can't see them because they're studying or working or what, and
Yeah.
there's no free time. There's no quality of life.
And so were you studying then, or?
No, I went to work there.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of went to see my old girlfriend a couple we went back 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And that was really weird because I went back to the apartment and the twin towers had come down, and that was just so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I met up with my girlfriend, she was just the same, like living in the city in Manhattan.
Uh-huh.
No quality of life because it was so expensive, and trying to bring up children, and they had to do this activity and be on this board and that board, and put this, and you're like, how do you kick back at all? There's just no time and no space whatsoever. It's so amazing place to visit, tough place to live.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of what, I don't know. I mean, people are like, oh, you're not going to do that at this age. And I said, no, I totally would try to do. I would do it for like 1 year, probably try to work for somebody in that 1 year and just kind of get it. I don't know. I still might just try to do it or something. It's always been a dream, I guess, but maybe it's just a dream that I want to like have some space on my, for myself or something. Maybe that's really
I just want a little help.
I just want a little, I want a loft. I just want a loft, and I just want to be able to, I don't know, to do
yeah, I think I heard you say that on the last episode. There's a theme that you've said that before. She wants a loft.
I want a loft. I want a brick loft with those high windows, and I totally.
We've got a canal boat, and that's our complete escape. It's just amazing. It's like it's 70 foot. Like, you see, we measure in,
oh my gosh, 70 meters. Okay,
no, 70 foot.
70 feet. That's
70
huge.
feet long. Yeah, and like 6 feet wide.
70 feet by 6 feet wide. Wow.
Yeah, 7 feet wide. It's a narrow boat. Yeah. And so that's where I stay. So it was built in 1976, and it's got a steel hull. But then the cabin's wood. Usually they're metal, but this one's wood, so it just constantly needs work. All we do is like fix it and repair and stop rot and dry rot and wet rot and all the rest of it. But it's and then there's a theme. We had it moored under a motorway bridge. There's a theme about motorway bridges, a freeway bridge, and it was just, so we were stayed there on Friday night, and it's been a heat wave here, so it was super hot.
Heat wave everywhere.
Yeah. But because we were moored under the motorway, we're in shade, and then you've got the cars, like it's like a 3 or 4 lane freeway above each side. So you can hear, like in the night, the cars and the trucks going past, and it's like waves crashing. It's really nice. I'm there. I'm back there. Barbecue underneath. We're like proper hobos. It was just bliss. Yeah, that's what we do. Never mind New York and your skyscrapers. It's like that.
I know, I know, I know, I
Um,
know. But then, then I go on this trip, kind of a road trip with one of my
mm,
friends, and they own this Airstream. They have all these Airstreams
oh
in New
yes.
Mexico, and I did a podcast interview with him, like, but I mean, then it's like the total opposite, right? Where you're like in New Mexico and Colorado, went to Mesa Verde, and there's like nothing around, and then all of a sudden
Mm.
you get back to the city, and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's just so much.
It's amazing. Just the density. You
Yeah,
get such densities.
yeah.
I mean, when we were talking before about, your classic buildings, I was gonna talk maybe about the Victorian kind of terraced house.
Uh-huh.
you for us, or, it's just how, these brick buildings that are like 100 years old,
Hmm.
how plus, how we've adapted them and we'll just continually adapt them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the
Which is, I mean,
future,
lived in one in Denmark, and one of the
yeah.
courtyard houses, right? That
Mm,
they've got brick buildings on it that were, built in the 1800s, and then,
mm.
people just go in and totally renovate them, and
And that's what that's what our housing stock is, that and kind
yeah.
of 1930s semi-detached houses.
Hmm.
That's the I don't know what the quantity is, but there's, millions over here, and that's kind of
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
our
Yeah,
mainstay is kind of all these renovations.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Okay. Well, it was great. It was great meeting with you, Lisa.
yeah,
If you ever
as
want to come over to the States, you can come and
yes.
visit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what,
Uh-huh.
if you're interested, or any of your friends are interested in setting up a master franchise of Pride Road,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
that would be a reason for me to come over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just send kind of more about it so that people could, it's like they could, do that, and any of the listeners or anything that.
Yeah, well, I mean, my website, prideroadfranchise.co.uk,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of is a really gives you a really good insight
Hmm.
into. Hey, I got name checked in Forbes magazine this week.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Yay!
I know. I mean, like at home, it was like, that's really big.
That
That's
is.
really
No,
big.
that's great. Yeah.
That's really big. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So there's link
definitely.
in Forbes. Lisa Raynes, Pride Road. All about franchising. It was like, how franchising is a superpower.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's link to that article too. And
Yeah,
all
for
right.
all the links.
I know. Links. We have a lot of links. Okay. So I'm gonna stop the
Okay,
recording.
right.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Lisa.
Thanks for having me.